Israel is at war. It has come under terrorist attacks. At least 70 Israelis have been killed. More than 700 have been injured. The scale of it is being called unprecedented. The images are terrifying. Israel is fighting back. It says the enemy will pay a price, the type of which it has never known. This is war, and it is massive. The hostility is decades old, but the latest provocation came this morning. Hamas invaded Israel. It was a surprise attack. No one saw it coming. Thousands of missiles rained on Israel. Hamas entered Israeli territory, killed people and took hostages. Through the day, we've been receiving pictures. They're chilling and deeply unsettling. But this is a story that must be told. So we advise viewer discretion. We start with how it began this morning. Take a look at this. At 7 a.m. local time, thousands of rockets were fired on Israel. We don't have the exact figure, but there are multiple reports. Hamas says it launched over 5,000 rockets. Israel says 2,500. Another report says more than 7,000 rockets were fired. Whatever the number, the scale is immense. Israel is facing its biggest attack in decades. The rockets fell far and wide, some all the way to northern Israel towards Tel Aviv. These attacks activated the sirens. Israeli citizens were alerted. They were under attack. Soon the attackers released a video message. It featured a Hamas spokesperson. You cannot see the face. It has the silhouette of a man, and he announced an operation against Israel.
We have decided to put an end to Israel's defenses with God's help, so the enemy understands that the time of wreaking without being held accountable is over. We announce the start of Al-Aqsa flood operation.
The Al-Aqsa flood operation, that's the name of this Hamas operation, of the series of attacks that they've launched. And it was a well-coordinated operation. Soon after the message, Hamas kicked off their ground assault. Their terrorists invaded Israel from all directions, on land, sea and air. Yes, there were paragliders in the air and boats charging towards Israeli beaches. It was truly unprecedented. There was no skirmish on the border, a limited ground offensive. It was none of these things. It was an all-out attack. Hamas was on the streets of Israel. They were seen driving around in jeeps, charging at their targets. The focus of the ground assault was southern Israel. They destroyed border fences using bulldozers, and Hamas had guns here. The Israeli forces were clearly caught off guard. This is the Israel-Gaza border, and here the Hamas captured a tank. They were seen celebrating. As the day progressed, they captured more military assets like vehicles. They even infiltrated into military bases. As of this evening, fighting was underway in at least 6 locations. Reports say the Hamas tried to break into homes. Israel's police chief said there were 21 active scenes. And this shows the extent of the attack, 21 active scenes. As the reports poured in, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called an emergency meeting, and then he made an announcement. He said, Israel is at war. It's not an operation, not an escalation. This is war, he said.
Citizens of Israel, we are at war. Not an operation, not an escalation, a war. I ordered an extensive reserve mobilization and a retaliatory war with a strength and scope that the enemy had never known. The enemy will pay a price he has never known.
לטהר את היישובים מהמחבלים שחדרו פנימה, הפעולה הזאת מתבצעת בשעות הללו.
So Netanyahu has vowed revenge. Israel is striking back, but the response will be complicated. That's because they still don't have full control of Israeli territory. Fighting is underway on the streets. Israeli troops are clashing with the Hamas. Villages and towns on the border have been captured by terrorists. People have been taken hostage. Hamas says it has taken Israelis hostage. How many? More than 50 as per some unconfirmed reports. And there are disturbing videos online. They show Israeli citizens being rounded up, both civilians and soldiers. Some have been taken to Gaza. This is territory controlled by Hamas. Other hostages are being held inside their homes. And again, let me warn you, the pictures are disturbing. That was an Israeli soldier. He was captured on the Gaza border. Many more videos like these are circulating. And they're fueling anger and calls for retaliation. Israel is not known to take such provocations lying down. It has launched a counter-offensive already. They're calling it Operation Iron Swords. And this is not just a military response. Expect Israel to strike deep inside Gaza and also target the top leaders of Hamas. There is talk of deploying troops to Gaza, but no official confirmation yet. Today, Israel conducted airstrikes. Israeli warplanes flew to Gaza. They conducted strikes at multiple locations. And Israel plans to ramp up these operations. They held a cabinet meeting earlier in the day, chaired by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and he has set out 3 goals for his military. Clear out the terrorists, impose a vast cost, that's the term he used, impose a vast cost on the enemy, and fortify other areas. Israel's defense minister says they will win at any cost.
Hamas made a grave mistake this morning. I call civilians to abide instructions and follow them to the letter. The state of Israel will win this war.
On the other side, Palestinian families are fleeing Gaza. They expect more violence. The death toll is mounting. Both sides have reported casualties. Hundreds of people are hurt. But this is just the beginning of the conflict. Expect the casualty count to rise.